Hello there. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Whitney. We're on the Growth Show, and we're in part 6, the final part of our 6-part marathon series all about lead generation funnels for practitioners. I hope you've been enjoying this content as much as I've been enjoying putting it out and sharing it with you. We have been covering so much when it comes to funnels. We've talked about what a funnel is, what a lead generation funnel is, why you would need one in your practice, and why really every practice should have at least one lead generation funnel going at all times, in my professional opinion. The 4 parts of a productive lead generation funnel, how to get those parts right. So I focused on getting your lead magnet right. That's the really where the rubber meets the road. Do people actually want this resource? So making sure it's good, making sure that it's connected to whatever it is you actually want to offer people who opt in and join your email list. What is the next step after they download that lead magnet? So making sure all of that works together and is really seamless. And then, of course, the follow-up. So once people download your lead magnet, that is not the end of the conversation. It's really the beginning. And so we want to have a few emails to welcome them into your world, get them to actually use the resource that they have downloaded, give them some other tips, some other resources from you, and then also just lightly invite them to take the next step and work with you if they're ready for that, making sure that they know, hey, this is how I help people like you. This is how to move forward. I'm available, ready to help. So we want to do all of that in the welcome sequence. And then in the last episode, in part 5, we talked about how to measure the results of your funnel, how to make sure it is working, to know what's working, what's not working, how to troubleshoot if you're feeling like I'm not getting what I want or what I was expecting from my funnel. To first make sure, okay, what were you expecting? Because we talked about leading indicators and lagging indicators, and how we shouldn't be measuring our funnel solely based on just, okay, did we get a sale? Did we get a new discovery call booked? There's lots of other indicators that we can use to actually measure the health of our funnel. So we talked through that. And now in part 6, our final part of the series, we are going to be talking about traffic, because a funnel with no traffic is just a pretty system that is sitting there doing nothing. And so today we are going to be fixing that. We are going to be talking through all the different ways. I said that it's 10 plus because honestly, I lost count. There's so many different ways that you can be driving traffic to your funnel. So I'm going to lead you through different categories of ways that you can be driving traffic. And what I really want you to focus on in this episode is not feeling like you need to do all of these things and do them all at once. Really, a lot of these activities are compounding. So you're going to add them in when it makes sense in your business, when there is an opportunity to include your funnel and whatever that activity is, and we'll talk through those. These are not things that you need to suddenly go out and all implement all at once. So take the ones that resonate with you, that feel good to you right now. If there's ones that you're like, I'm not really sure how to do that, but that sounds interesting, then put that in the back of your mind. Maybe you want to learn a little bit more about that. Maybe I have some episodes on the podcast that talk about some of these things too. So if you are curious about diving into any of the tactics that I talk through today, you might want to go on to whitneybateson.com/podcast and just type into the search bar on that page to search through our past podcast episodes. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to find an episode that either I did or I had a guest on where we talked through one of these traffic strategies in depth and walked through a little bit more about like how to implement them. So that is a great place to go for deeper learning. And then, of course, I want to also point you to our open house that is coming up. If you're listening to this today when this episode drops on Monday the 15th, we have a live open house and coaching call happening on the 18th. So Thursday, the 18th June, it's happening at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the intent of this call is 2 things. So you've heard me talking about too that our new Done For You funnel service is available, where my team and I will actually just create your entire funnel for you. We will come up with the strategy behind it, all of the copy, create the lead magnet, make the design, get your input on all of it, set it all up tech-wise, and then even create an ad funnel as well, or an ad campaign that is sending traffic. And we'll talk about ads as one of the traffic strategies today as well. So that is something that's available right now. Spots are open. I'm giving a founding member price. It's not really a member, but founding price, because this is a service. This is not a membership. This is not an ongoing coaching program where you are doing some of the work. You are giving your information to us, and then we are doing all of the work. So it's very different than some of the things that I've been offering in the past. I just want to get this done for you. And honestly, the fastest way to do it is for my team and I to just do it for you. So that is what we're offering. And so this open house is going to be me talking a little bit more about that process. What does it look like for us to actually create this entire thing for you? What is it that you're going to have to give us up front so that we can do what we need to do? What do the deliverables look like? What are we going to be setting up for you? What does it look like once your funnel is live? How do you move forward from there? What are the next steps? So we'll talk through that. Any questions you have about the service, bring them to the call, whether it's making sure that it's going to work for your specific business and niche, or how the process works, or anything like that. Bring them to the call. And then also, if you have any just general questions about funnels, bring those to the call as well. So we'll have plenty of time. I have set it for an hour, but I don't have anything booked after the call. So I will make sure that every single question gets answered. So if you go to whitneybateson.com/funnel open house, you can register there. It's just a Zoom registration. If you want to put your question when you're registering in the form, that would be great. That will help me make sure that I really have thought through the answers to your questions before you come on the call. But if you don't have a question right yet and you just want to put it in the chat when we're live on Zoom, that's totally fine too. So either way is fine. And if you know that you can't make it to that 12 p.m. Eastern slot, but you have a question and you want to make sure it gets answered, register, submit your question, and I will still actually answer it. And then I will be sending the recording out to everyone who registers. Everyone will be getting the recording anyway, but if you want to make sure you definitely get it in your inbox right away, immediately, then just register. That's going to be the fastest way to get the recording. Without further ado, and if you want to check out our Done For You funnel service, go to whitneybateson.com/DFY. So that's for Done For You funnel, DFY funnel. That is where you can find all the information about the Done For You funnel service. You can sign up for it. You can book a call with me if you want to just ask me some questions privately and talk through some stuff. That is totally fine too. I'm already having conversations with people. We've already sold some of our spots. So we only have a few more spots left. So definitely go to the page and get moving. If it's something that you're interested in, then move forward. And I would love to work with you and support you. All right, that's all of our PSA announcements. Let's get into the meat of this episode because I do have quite a bit that I want to share with you. And I'm going to try and be mindful of the time. I always aim to make these short and digestible. Okay. So let's talk about traffic and why traffic really requires its own conversation when it comes to a funnel and the success of a funnel. So there is this common misconception that you'll build a funnel and then people will just come to it. This happens for so many different things. We just think, okay, now it's out there on the web and people will find it and it'll be great. And that is not usually the case. They're not going to automatically find it. They're not going to stumble across your funnel. We really need to be intentional and put it in every single freaking place that people could be potentially looking so that there is always an opportunity for people to find it. And think about this. Your funnel is not a billboard on the highway where there is just traffic on the road and they're seeing it and it's great. It's more like a store in a great location that you still have to tell people about. There's some foot traffic coming by, but not a whole lot. And it's not like shouting at people like, hey, find me, look at me. So we need to get the word out. We need to do some networking. We need to get other people talking about it. We really need to be like drumming up the interest and that foot traffic to our really great funnel that we've built. When it comes to traffic and getting traffic to your funnel, you don't need to have a huge audience. Frankly, I've even seen people who have tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, and then they're having a hard time getting them to actually become email subscribers. So just because you have a big audience does not mean that you're actually going to get a ton of people into your funnel. There's a lot of different ways that we can be building a funnel. Having a huge social media following is not necessary for this. Having any kind of large audience anywhere is not necessary. There's definitely solutions here for everyone, depending on no matter where you are in your business and your own audience. What we do need is we need consistent, relevant traffic. So we need the right people coming and finding our funnel. So even a small, steady stream of those right people really compounds over time. And if we have multiple streams of people coming in from multiple different places, it's going to be better. So there's two types of traffic that we are going to be talking about. And you may have heard these terms before: organic traffic and paid traffic. So organic traffic is quote unquote free. And I say that with a big caveat because it does still take time and effort and maybe even money, especially if you're paying someone else to help you build organic. Then it's still going to cost a little bit, but it's definitely not like just paying money to Meta for ads. So technically organic is free. It is slower to build. It just generally takes more time to actually build up traffic and traction through organic channels, but it really does compound over time and it doesn't stop when you stop paying. And generally, you're going to be getting warmer leads from organic traffic, just through the nature of what organic traffic is. Versus paid traffic, this is going to be a lot faster, scalable. It costs money, but it gets your funnel in front of cold audiences immediately. And so these are going to be cold audiences that have never heard of you before. That's the whole point of ads. There is retargeting and trying to reach people who have already seen some of your content and all of that. But most often we're trying to really widen the net and get as many people seeing our business and seeing our ads as possible. So just by virtue of that, those are cold people that have never heard from you. And so they're going to need more nurturing and all of that. But the great thing is that your funnel can help with that, and your email list and email sequencing can help with that. But the thing with paid too is that because you're paying Meta to keep putting your content in front of audiences, as soon as you turn off your ads, that traffic stops because you didn't build up any kind of organic channel at that point. It was just straight up Facebook or Instagram putting your post in front of people on a feed and stories, however they're placing those ads. As soon as you turn off that ad and stop paying them, they're not going to show it anymore. Versus when you build up an organic channel, like with a blog, that can be showing up in search engine results for years because you've built that up and that's not going away. You didn't pay to play. You put in the work to actually get that ranking. So they're just different flavors of really the same coin of trying to get traffic into our business. So the ideal situation, honestly, is having both running together. So we have organic to get more warm people in and for the longevity and that steady increasing growth. And then paid, which is going to help with reach and getting more reach, and speed to having more subscribers coming in, having more people find us more quickly, getting our data more quickly. So instead of waiting for 2 months to get 50 subscribers onto our email list, we could maybe get 50 subscribers in a week with low cost ads and then see, okay, is the funnel working? Where do I need to improve? Are my open rates okay? Are my click-through rates okay? Is anyone going to the sales page? Is anyone booking a call? All of those things are a lot faster when you have more data coming in and more people coming in. Okay, let's start talking through the traffic strategies then. So I'm going to start with organic and then we'll talk through paid. So first off, with organic, I'm going to group these different things that you can be doing into 4 different buckets. And really the whole goal is to be putting our organic funnel in front of as many people as possible so that they can see that opt-in page for your resource and actually opt in, give their email, and download it. So last time, or the time before that, I talked about a little bit the difference between a organic funnel and a paid funnel. And there's not too much different in terms of the content of it or anything like that. It's more of a technical thing. So what we recommend doing with a paid funnel is to actually just have the native opt-in form on that platform, on the Facebook Meta ads platform. So you're not really having an opt-in page for ads, when you do organic and you're sharing your lead magnet out to different people and audiences, that's when you have an opt-in page. So that's what I'm talking about, the organic opt-in page. Even if we did ever want to be sending people from ads to an opt-in page, we would want to actually have that be a separate opt-in page that is ad specific, because we do measure our ad success for how much are we paying for how many leads we're getting. And so if we were to send traffic from organic and paid all into the same technical funnel and people are getting tagged just, hey, they opted in for this resource, we wouldn't know how much are we paying, which leads are coming from ads and which are coming from organic. And so the easiest way to track that is just have them be two separate things. So I'm going to be talking right now for driving traffic to this organic landing page that you've created for your funnel, for your lead magnet. So the first thing is your own channels. And this group I'm going to talk about is just set it and forget it. You're just going to do these things once. Make sure that all of them are checked off. These are easy. Everyone should do it. There are no exceptions to this rule. So you should feature your lead magnet prominently on your website. I would have it on your homepage, on your services page, on your about page, in your footer of your website. If you have a blog, put it in the blog sidebar or embed it in blogs, either at the bottom of the blog or halfway through the blog as relevant. Put it on a resources page if you have a resources page. Really, it should be impossible to miss on your website because people are coming to your website from many different places. They may not land on your home every time. They may be finding a blog. They may be going straight to your services page. So we want them to easily be able to access this resource from any of those places because a lot of people, they're looking around. They may not be ready to go yet, but if you have this really interesting resource, while they're considering if they want to work with you, they might want to just download that resource and get that and get some information from you first before they decide to move forward. So you can do this in a number of different ways. I don't want to go through all the specifics because I will make this very long if I do, but having little banners, announcement banners at the top of your home, having a little section like our templates in the past for websites, we've always included like a little section in the footer that's on the bottom of every page. You can also have a section in the middle of your homepage. It has like a little pretty thumbnail mock-up of the resource and a little bit talking about it and an opt-in form there. That's for your home. You can have those kinds of things on different pages and just design them and set them up, whatever makes sense for the content that's on that page. You can also have pop-ups. I would use those very thoughtfully. I would avoid having them show up on mobile. I would have a good delay on them. I would make sure that they are not continuing to appear. If someone closes it and then goes to a new page, please, for the love of God, do not have it pop up again. Ideally, I would have it only popping up once per session. So if someone closes it, it's not coming up again. But the thing about pop-ups is that someone closes it. I close pop-ups right away, I will admit, because I don't know yet, especially when they come so soon when I come to a page and they're right there. I'm like, I came here looking for something. You're in my way. Get out of my way. But then that could have been a really great resource. But if that resource was also later on at the bottom of that blog post I was reading, then maybe I will choose it. So just remember, repetition when it comes to marketing is so important. And don't assume that just because you had a pop-up for your opt-in that you shouldn't also have that opt-in for your lead magnet appearing in multiple places on your website. Okay, I'll stop talking about that. Now, also make sure you can add your link to your landing page in your email signature. So every email that you send can be a touch point. So just have a very short call to action talking about that resource, free meal ideas, 10 tips to beat the bloat, free assessment, whatever it is, just very short, very clear that, hey, what is this going to do for me, what it is, and then just link to that opt-in page. And then that way people can find it there. Definitely add it to all of your social media bios and profiles. If you've got a link tree or some other kind of system set up, have it there, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. Always have that relevant funnel that is your active funnel that you're promoting right now. Have that in all the places. Okay, so those are the things that you just set up and it's there and then you're done. You don't have to keep doing anything. Now let's talk about content and content that is continuing to work and bring in traffic. And really, this is the crux of the organic content marketing. And let's talk through how to integrate your lead magnet and your funnel into the content marketing. So I'm not going to be talking about content marketing strategy at this point, but I am going to bring up some things about where to go the extra step to make sure that you are also collecting email subscribers and putting your funnel into all of these things. So blogging, and of course, like I mentioned, have it in your blogs. So have and then write blog posts that relate to that lead magnet and that are answering questions that people have. So blogging is still a great way to generate traffic to your website and generate traffic to your lead magnet when you are thoughtfully putting your lead magnet and funnel into those blog posts. So that's definitely one. AI search optimization is another way to get traffic to your site. So people are increasingly finding answers through AI tools. So making sure that your content is showing up as a source is also important for traditional SEO. So I wouldn't say in this one that I'm thinking that you're optimizing your lead magnet specifically for AI SEO, but more that just making sure and learning about AI SEO and optimizing your content and then making sure that your lead magnet is a part of that content that people are finding, which is generally your website. So like I said, having it in pretty much every page, having it in those blog posts. So whatever someone is searching for in an AI, Claude, iMode, and Google, all these other platforms that are linking back to it's as cited sources, when people click through and go to that website, having your lead magnet there featured prominently is really great. Because I guess the part of all of this is having it on your website is great, but we want to be driving traffic to your website too. So we're still in the realm of website traffic generation, but we'll move on from that in a moment. But definitely put it on your website and then drive traffic to your website. And just make sure that anything that you're repurposing too, that you're putting out, is including a path to your freebie. So if you were on a podcast and you were given the option to write a blog post about that podcast that you were on and maybe embed or link to that podcast episode, make sure to talk about your lead magnet in that piece of content as well. And then other places outside of your website, I mentioned YouTube briefly, but if you have a channel, make sure that you're mentioning your lead magnet in your videos. YouTube is such an amazing search engine. It's the second largest search engine behind Google. And so the links that you're putting into your videos and into the captions and the descriptions of your videos can be working for months and years to come. So the same way that you would be having a blog post up there optimized, having videos, if traffic is coming to those videos, we want to also be giving people the option to download a resource from you in that video. Pinterest is another great way to be driving traffic both to your website and to your lead magnet. So you can certainly be putting out pins about your resource and having people download your resource from there. And other platforms too that are off your website, but newsletters, or if you're writing on Substack. So really the same rules apply. Just naturally include your funnel link to your landing page, your opt-in page for your freebie, whenever it is appropriate and it feels right and it supports the content. But definitely make sure that you're doing that fairly regularly. Okay, so let's move on from the content marketing and that kind of more evergreen traffic generation to just more active sharing of your lead magnet and your funnel directly. So of course, you could be posting about it on social media. If you are not one to really enjoy social media, then skip this one. But if you are one who likes to put up some posts every so often, even if it's sporadic, I would make sure that you are talking about your lead magnet every so often so that people who are seeing your content, it's not just educational content for likes and shares and all of that. It's actually having people take action and take that next step to become an email subscriber of yours. So because we can't put links, at least in Instagram, then I would put it in your bio and say the link's in your bio, or you can use tools like ManyChat and all of that kind of stuff if you want. But definitely promoting your lead magnet on social media posts. If you are actively posting on social, you should definitely be doing that as well. And then another one that can be a touchy one, but I think has its place and I don't think it should be discounted, is direct outreach and prospecting. And this is about being helpful and being authentic and starting conversations and then sharing your resource if it makes sense for people. So we had someone on the podcast a while ago, Charlotte, and she was talking about doing this on LinkedIn. And the way she described it, it really felt more like it was just initiating a conversation. It wasn't like just this icky DM coming out of nowhere and being like, how would you like it if I said I could give you 100 new leads every week on your calendar? Those are the ones I get all the time that I hate so much. So if you have a free resource to share, that really is a perfect reason and opener to have a conversation with people and offer it and suggest it to them. So go listen to her episode if you want to learn a little bit more about the mechanics of that. But I just think that that is something to keep in mind too, is that you can certainly be opening conversations with people who you feel might be a good candidate for working with you in the future, or at the very least might get helped by your resource, and just opening that conversation. Okay, now let's switch gears into other people's audiences. And I do have quite a few suggestions that I think are really powerful. And what we're trying to do here is we are trying to build our own audience. We are trying to build our own list of potential clients, so leads that would be a good fit for our services. And that may take time for them. And so they're on our email list. And we're going to be nurturing them and all of that stuff that we talked about. We want to be building our audience, but it takes time to build our audience. And one of the fastest ways to build your audience is to go into other people's audiences where more of your ideal clients are already there and clustered. And then the trust that has already been built with whoever created that audience gets transferred to you when you are in their audience talking, and especially when they're recommending you or bringing you up on their proverbial stage to talk to their audience about something. That is very powerful, and those people are going to be more likely to want to hear what you have to say and opt into your resources and join your audience as well. So a few different ways that you can be borrowing other audiences and getting your resource and your funnel in front of other people's audiences. And this is still all organic, right? So you can do podcast appearances and guest talks. So every time that you are speaking somewhere, mention your freebie as the next step. You can certainly still share your website, talk about your services a little bit, but the more effective, like little micro action that people could take after listening to you speak is going to be to opt into your resource and download it. So this could be one of the warmest traffic sources you have, because people have already spent 30 to 60 minutes with you and listening to you and hearing you talk. And now this is just giving them an opportunity to get a resource. And so this is also something to think about when you are invited to a podcast or you are invited to a talk. How can you make sure that that talk is actually leading to a resource that you have available? So ideally, it's this funnel. It's this lead magnet that you created. If you find yourself needing to make some other kind of resource, that's fine, but create that as a funnel too, if you can, and have the welcome sequence and all of that. I'm definitely guilty of creating too many lead magnets and resources for like all the different talks that I give. So my advice is to try and see, can you just use the thing that you already have and share that? But I definitely feel like a lot of people just forget or neglect to actually ask for people to just download and join and read that resource. They maybe just trail off or say, yeah, if you want to work with me, reach out. Here's my email. Here's my socials, that kind of thing. Definitely send people to your funnel. And then you can also be doing PR and media mentions. So if you are ever quoted in an article or you're featured in a newsletter or mentioned in a publication, if possible, try to include your lead magnet as the CTA. Not everyone's going to allow this, and that's fine, but that is going to be a really warm audience as well. If at the very least, all they're doing is linking back to your website, you know that you've made your lead magnet very prominent on your website so that anyone that's coming from that article is going to find your resource pretty easily and quickly, and then they can opt in from there. So that's fine too, but best case scenario, if you can somehow get your resource mentioned or included in any of those media mentions, that is really wonderful. Another one is online communities. So these are forums, Facebook groups, Reddit, like other places where your ideal customers are hanging out and looking for advice, looking for support, talking about whatever issue it is that you generally help with or support. And you can be in there as a trusted resource, as someone who is just offering value, offering support and help. And when it makes sense in just the natural conversation of things, you can be sharing the link to your resource. Now, every community has different guidelines and all of that. And I'm not saying that you're just blasting the group with your resource. Now, granted, some groups will have a promotion Sunday or some kind of promotion thread. I highly recommend taking advantage of that and putting your resource in there. So do that too. But otherwise, if it's just natural conversations and you're seeing an opportunity where, hey, this would be a really great resource for people, especially this person asking this question, definitely share your resource there. And then in-person events, also another great way to get people into your funnel and onto your email list. So health fairs, expos, community events, you can get people to sign up with a QR code. Keep in mind for all of these events, if they're moving really fast, look at how you can make it really, really seamless and easy for people to sign up as quickly as possible. So even someone scanning a QR code, it's going to just send them to the landing page. They're going to still have to give their email address. And if it's a really frantic event, maybe even them typing in their email address, they may not do. So if you can have people write their emails down, or you can scan a badge or anything really to get their email, then that's the ideal scenario. And then in exchange, they can get your freebie. So that's just a whole nother area. I think I do have a podcast episode about that as well. Also, just when it comes to QR codes, consider adding a QR code for your funnel to business cards, to flyers that are in waiting rooms, with just a really quick, compelling CTA, like I mentioned, for your email signature. Same kind of idea there. So anywhere that people are looking at stuff, give them an opportunity to join your email list and get that freebie. And then another opportunity to borrow others' audiences and cross-pollinate a little bit is doing freebie swaps and emails with complementary providers. So basically what you're going to do here is you're going to find someone whose audience overlaps with yours, but they're not a direct competitor. If you're a dietitian, maybe a therapist, or if you're a therapist, maybe a dietitian, a personal trainer, a functional medicine doctor, and you're just going to swap. So they are going to email their list about your freebie. You might draft the email for them and write it either in your voice or in their voice, and they can modify it if they want, just talking about whatever it is the topic is, and then inviting them to download the resource to get more information. And then you are also going to email your list about theirs. So that is one thing you can do. And in that same vein, you could also do referrals from complementary businesses. So it's slightly different from a freebie swap. This is like a gym or a yoga studio or some doctor's office who can be actively recommending your resource to their clients. So you could have a flyer or just a conversation with them that they can be sharing your funnel or your lead magnet link with them. And they're just sharing that link to their customers. Maybe they have a newsletter that they send out and they can feature your resource there. And yeah, some of these things I guess maybe could be paid, but generally I'm thinking a lot of times businesses are just trying to support each other. And if there's some value that you can give back to them as well, maybe you, again, it's like a bit of a swap, but it's not so much like email marketing, but it's more just the sharing of the resource. And if there's a way for you to also talk about them to your clients, then that is a win-win for everyone. And then another thing you could do is you could participate in bundles. This is similar idea to like freebie swaps. It's a lower lift if you already have something available. So your freebie gets included in a curated collection that someone else is promoting. You've seen me run some bundles on the podcast or just in my business in the past. So this is just another way where your resource can be in front of larger audiences, and then people from those audiences can come into your funnel. So these are all of the organic ideas and options. And like I was mentioning at the beginning, these are not things that you're all going to do all at once. Think about these. Think about, okay, how do I get started in any of these? Which ones could I do very easily? Which ones are going to take more time? And just decide how you're going to keep stacking them on and see how they go. Some of these are going to work better for others, and some are going to work really well for you. So pick and choose and then test and see which ones really have the best ROI, and then keep doing those. And some of them, maybe they're not so helpful. Maybe give them a break and come back and try them in another 3 months. That works too. Okay, let's now go into paid ads. And I am going so long here, so I'm going to wrap this up because I don't have as much to say about paid ads and paid traffic because we did a whole separate podcast series about ads. So if you want to hear about that, definitely go and listen to those episodes. But if you want to get that data into your funnel faster, like I was talking about, ads is definitely a very direct, one of the most direct ways to do it. You're sending people in through your funnel right away. And running ads to a lead magnet is one of the most cost-effective ways to use paid traffic. So you are not just sending traffic to a link like to your website where you're really, those ads are really cheap, but you're not really getting anyone taking any action. You're just getting views. So it's like vanity views, but no action. And with the lead magnet, you're asking for an email address. You're not asking for a credit card. So the barrier is lower. The cost per lead is lower. And then your funnel that you're having in your email is doing the warming work from there. So on the flip side, doing like just traffic ads, they're super cheap, but not really effective. Doing ads to actually get someone to buy something right from the ad, those are more expensive. And lead generation ads are like right in the middle in that sweet spot where it's not super expensive. They're still really valuable leads that you're getting. And then you can do that additional work to warm them up and nurture them and all of that. And you don't need a big budget for these either to start and to actually see results and get the data that you need in order to continue to refine your funnel. So we always recommend $5 a day on Instagram and Facebook. That's really enough to get real subscribers and real data coming into your funnel. And another thing is that meta ads are really one of the most accessible starting points when it comes to ads. The targeting options for health and wellness audiences are really strong, and the platform is built for this kind of lead generation campaign. And that's what it is. It's a lead generation campaign. And so I definitely recommend Meta as a great ad strategy to start. So Meta is going to give you ad placements on both Facebook and Instagram. And it's smart enough to know if it starts finding that more of your customers are on Facebook, it will decrease the spend on the Instagram ads and focus more on Facebook. So you don't have to build separate ads for Facebook and Instagram. That $5 a day is for both platforms. So it will figure it out behind the scenes. It's smart like that. But the one thing that we do want to make sure you get right is that your ad and your opt-in match so that when people are actually clicking on that ad and giving their email and, hey, thinking this is really great, that it is a representation of what the actual resource is. Because if it's not, then people will probably unsubscribe pretty quickly. They won't engage with your content and all of that. So getting that proper fit between the ad and what the actual resource is really important. And once you see that your funnel is working and that your lead magnet is converting and all of that, then you can start scaling your spend because now you're putting your fuel basically into something that works. So as you're seeing more of those leads come in, you're spending $5 a day and you start seeing some good traction there. And the people that are coming on your list, they're starting to book calls and you're getting engagement and all of that. Then you can say, oh, maybe I want to increase it to $7.50, maybe $10 a day. So you can do those kinds of things very easily as you see things change. You don't have to move very quickly or worry that it's going to blow through your whole budget. Set this low budget. It spends the money the way you want, and then you can slowly increase as you watch the data. Okay, so we talked about organic and paid. So just to wrap things up and explain why we should have both coming in. So think about organic traffic is really that foundation. It's warming people up. It's building trust. It comes from sources where people already know and like you. They've just read a blog post and now they're opting into your lead magnet. So people will likely move forward more quickly because they already came to you a bit warm once they opted into that lead magnet. Paid traffic is your amplifier. It gets you in front of people who have never heard of you at scale, consistently. You can know, okay, I spend this. This is how many leads I can expect to get when I spend this. They may take longer to say yes most of the time because they really don't know you at all, but it allows you to reach way more people much more quickly, and you can be doing that nurturing. So if you rely solely on organic, that is going to generally mean slower growth and a ceiling that is really defined by your existing audience size, and just growing is going to be slower. Relying on paid only means that when you stop spending, the leads stop coming in because you didn't build this ongoing organic system behind the scenes. So just remember together that they can really create something that's much more sustainable, where paid is bringing in the cold people that are nurturing over time, and the organic and your funnel are really what is warming people up and getting people to move forward to become clients. So like I mentioned also, you need two versions of your funnel: an organic version optimized for sharing manually. That's just going to be a landing page, lead magnet, and then a paid version set up technically for ads with proper tracking. And we're going to be using the native form on Facebook and Instagram for actually collecting the lead on that. The content is the same. You don't need two different lead magnets. You don't need two different welcome sequences. It is just really the technical setup that we need. And that is actually what we do with your Done For You funnel. So in the Done For You funnel service, we actually set up both that organic funnel and that ad paid funnel for you. So you don't have to worry about the technical side of those things. You're going to be able to see those leads separately, track them separately, make sure you know exactly what your ad costs are and what they are doing for you while you're sharing your organic funnel as well. Okay, that wraps up the episode. It wraps up our funnel series. This has been the longest funnel series, or the longest series I've done on the podcast, but I've been getting some great feedback on it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do let me know. Let me know if there's anything that was missing from this, or what was your most impactful? What was your favorite takeaway from all of this? What helped you the most? That really helps me know if I'm on the right track and how I can make more series like this. And if there is something else that you really want me to do a deep dive like I did about funnels, let me know. I'm always in the mood to do another series. I think it's fun. It's great to have a topic to be speaking to and going in depth about. So I hope that you enjoyed this, like I said, as much as I enjoyed it. And just remember that we do have a resource that you can download that is going to help you. It's free to just plan out your funnel, make sure that you've got all the pieces. So it's the companion to this series. So go to whitneybateson.com/funnel blueprint, and it will walk you through every piece. And if you've been thinking, I just want someone to do this for me, that is exactly what my team and I do. So we have just launched our Done For You funnel service that builds your complete lead gen funnel, lead magnet, opt-in pages, welcome sequence, and the full ad campaign setup as well. And we do it in under a month for you. So we do both that organic and paid versions. You're covered. And right now we're doing intro pricing, our founder pricing. It's still available for a limited number of spots. So go to whitneybateson.com to see the full service. We've got FAQs there, everything that's included, how it works. So go there to claim your spot. You can sign up right away from that page. Or if you want to have a quick call with me first to talk through it, then you can book a call from that page as well. And then finally, I'm hosting our free live open house and coaching call later this week on June 18th, Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to see what we actually build inside of this new service, have questions, then all of that will be covered there. Or just bring whatever you're stuck on when it comes to funnels, because we will talk through just general funnel questions as well. So you can register for that at whitneybateson.com/ and we will be sending the recording to everyone who signs up if you can't make it live. All right. Thank you so much for listening and checking out this series with me. And I will see you on another episode of The Growth Show soon.